Welcome to Planet Subaru, one of the largest Subaru showrooms in the world and the first powered entirely by the sun. Today we're comparing the Subaru Crosstrek with its big brother, the Subaru Outback. And when I say big, I mean it. The Outback's 14 inches longer than the Crosstrek, a couple inches taller and a couple inches wider. Crucially, the wheelbase, which is the distance between the axles that you see here, that's a couple inches longer too, which means that you're going to have a smoother ride in the Outback than you do in the Crosstrek. Crosstrek springs from the smaller Impreza platform, and the Outback is built upon the larger Legacy mid-size platform. So obviously there's going to be a significant difference in size, and that's going to carry over to the interiors too, which we'll take a look at next. Subaru engineers deserve a lot of credit for very efficient use of space. This is not a large car, but it's surprisingly comfortable even if you have 4 and even 5 people in it. Visibility, as you can see, is outstanding. A trick that Subaru uses on most of its cars are these partition windows, which allow you to look past the large rear view mirrors. This is especially important for shorter drivers who will be able to see past those mirrors to detect hazards before they become a problem. In terms of materials, the fit and finish is beautiful. You're going to notice that Subaru spent a little bit more money on the Outback interior because they can afford to. There's about a $4,000 difference in price between the two when they're comparably equipped. Rear legroom is adequate, although most people with a kid or two, or people who tend to have a lot of people in the back seat, will gravitate towards the Outback. Cargo space in the Crosstrek is surprisingly large considering the car's size, but we do find a lot of people when they have their first kid trade in a Crosstrek for the Outback just to get that additional distance from the back of the seat to the back of the car there. With groceries and a car seat and a stroller, this thing's going to be maxed out. The quality of the materials in the Outback is even nicer than in the Crosstrek. Visibility is a little better because there's just more glass there. And the Outback features those same partition windows I was describing on the Crosstrek. The extra couple inches of height and width really pay off in the interior room in the car. Legroom is substantially improved, and the Outback's going to be a much better choice if people spend a lot of time in the back seats, or if you're trying to get rear-facing infant car seats in the car. I'm going to actuate the power tailgate on the Outback, which is an option only on the Outback. You can't get it on the Crosstrek. You'll see there's considerably more room in the Outback. You can lay 2 bikes flat in there without taking the front wheel off. That would be much more difficult, basically impossible to do in the Crosstrek. There's also this nice feature in the Outback where you can pull down the handle or release the handle and the seats fold down automatically from behind. You can see with those seats down, there's just a ton of room back here. Both come standard with a normally aspirated 4-cylinder boxer engine. Although the Outback has a 2.5 liter, it generates 175 horsepower and returns 25 city miles to the gallon and 32 highway. It's also available with a 3.6 liter 6-cylinder engine, which produces 256 horsepower. The Outback is probably the better towing choice. It goes up to 2,700 pounds with the 4-cylinder engine, and if you get the 6, you can go to 3,000 pounds. Whereas with the Crosstrek, you're limited to a 1,500 pound towing capacity. 2-liter engine in the Crosstrek, 152 horsepower. It returns 27 in the city and 33 on the highway. If you want to row your own transmission, Crosstrek's the only way you can get a 6-speed manual. So if that makes a factor, that's an important thing to consider when you decide which one's for you. The Outback costs about $4,000 more comparably equipped. Of course, you get a larger, more luxurious vehicle, but you also get a lot more standard equipment. And I'll give you an example of that. You can see that the roof rails come on both, but the crossbars on the Outback are part of the entire racking system, and they're built in, so you can just pivot those arms as necessary. You can leave them retracted for better fuel economy, or if you need them, you can extend them and cross it up. You can get bolt-on crossbars for the Crosstrek, but they're an accessory. They don't come standard, and of course you have to install them. They don't just swing out. There are other features like automatic locking. When you go 12 miles an hour in the Outback, the power door locks will actuate. In the case of an airbag deployment, they'll actually unlock the doors automatically for you too. So those are a couple examples of many individual features that you get in the Outback that are either optional or simply not available in the Crosstrek. In summary, you know, my wife leases a Crosstrek and I lease an Outback. She prefers the Crosstrek because she likes to park in the city, and it's just a lot easier to park. It really is, and she just doesn't want a big car. I mountain bike, and I like to have the space in the back to pile in the bikes without having to remove the wheels. So I prefer the Outback, and I think it rides better, and the materials are a little nicer too. So depending on what you need and what your budget is, we'll help you decide. Please visit us in Hanover, Massachusetts. We'll give you an opportunity to test drive both of them and answer any questions that you might have. If you're too far away and you can't visit us, then please check out our complete analysis of both models at plantsubaru.com, where we go into even more detail. Thanks for watching. Quality of the materials is a little nicer on the Outback. Visibility is outstanding. Probably even a little better than the Crosstrek with all that glass back there. Outback has those same partition windows I was telling you about in the Crosstrek. You might see too that extra couple of inches of height and width and the substantial extra length of the car makes the Outback the better choice if you're going to have a lot of people in the back seats.